Coaches and players from all 15 Atlantic 10 teams gathered in Washington, D.C. for Media Day earlier this month. I talked to all of them and will be sharing parts of our conversations in long and short form content as the season approaches. Today, I'll be sharing parts of my conversations with St. Joseph's head coach Cindy Griffin and senior forward Talya Brugler, St. Bonaventure head coach Jim Crowley and redshirt senior guard Dani Haskell, Fordham head coach Bridgette Mitchell and graduate student guard Taylor Donaldson, Salle head coach Mountain MacGillivray, and sophomore guard Aryss Macktoon, Loyola Chicago head coach Allison Guth, and graduate student forward Sitori Tanin, as well as Duquesne head coach Dan Burt and fifth-year senior guard Megan McConnell. Locked On Women's Basketball starts now.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and happy Thursday. You are Locked On Women's Basketball. I'm Natalie Heavren, and I'm a features writer and the Atlantic 10 beat reporter for The Next. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On NBA Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On NBA newsletter. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. If this is your first time listening to Locked On Women's Basketball, welcome. We at The Next have over 100 reported pieces every single month. We have a beat reporter on every single WNBA team, one on more than 15 different NCAA beats, so get that YouTube subscription up. And you can also support us by subscribing to The Next for $9 a month or $72 a year at thenexthoops.com. Today, I'll be sharing parts of my conversations with St. Joseph's head coach Cindy Griffin and senior forward Talya Brugler, St. Bonaventure head coach Jim Crowley and redshirt senior guard Dani Haskell, Fordham head coach Bridgette Mitchell and graduate student guard Taylor Donaldson, Salle head coach Mountain MacGillivray and sophomore guard Aryss Macktoon, Loyola Chicago head coach Allison Guth and graduate student forward Sitori Tanin, as well as Duquesne head coach Dan Burt and fifth-year senior guard Megan McConnell. St. Joseph's head coach Cindy Griffin and senior forward Talya Brugler.
What is the highlight of your trip to shit? Yeah, I mean, I think the highlight is it's always spending time with each other and forging deeper relationships than that we just normally have during the summer, and being able to experience a different culture, be able to compete at the high level, and then really just experience a different part of the world.
Yeah, I would agree. And then just to kind of get off that, we did compete, and we won both our games over there, which was obviously the goal heading into it. And we were just able to build better connections as a team, doing really cool adventures. Are there any other benefits of the trip that you hope to see or have already seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got a chance to see, what the secondary, players were able to do as far as stepping up. I think we knew with Talya and Lara and with Mackenzie, but building the younger players up, giving them a little bit more primary roles in those games was really great to see, and you could see the growth, especially from our sophomore class and our freshman class, or our junior class as well.
Yeah, and we were able to practice like a game-like scenario and have practices before heading into that, so it was just nice to get a taste, especially for the newcomers, just to know what it's going to be like starting a week ago when we started practices, just knowing that's going to be like what's expected of the coach. So it was a lot easier and a smoother transition coming into the first week of practices this year.
And what excites you both about this season? Well, just the continuity, the fact that we have everybody back in last year's roster, minus Chloe, but just the continuity that these players have really built the foundation of our success. And from the we're just regrouping when Talya was a freshman in her class, and just to see that they have increased their productivity over the course of their 4 years at St. Joe's.
And then, based on your practices so far, who's someone who can elevate it from her that we should keep an eye out?
Yeah, I mean, I think they all have, to be honest with you. I think with Talya, you say how much better can she get? I mean, you can see her scoring in different ways. You have Ziegler's bringing the ball up the court a little bit more for us, and just being comfortable in all positions. And then, of course, you have Mackenzie, who just does it all for us. she put the team on her shoulders when we need a basket. But if you're talking about underclassmen, you're talking about that piece. You're talking about somebody that's going to be playing a lot of minutes for us that gave us a spark off that bench last year. But now it's going to be taking that next step, which is going to be in more of a primary.
What excites you about that national non-conference schedule?
Well, I think it's just us competing against, on paper, right? People say they might be in a power conference. Well, the Atlantic 10 is just good, if not better. And you saw that with postseason last year, with us beating a team like Cal, or, you looked at St. Louis winning the WNIT. So I think definitely this is the year. I mean, eyes are open. Women's basketball is just really, again, taking off at a different level and from a national exposure standpoint. And, what can we do to add that value for our university, but also for the Atlantic 10? We're excited about that.
And then what are you expecting, or what excites you about the A-10 as a whole this season?
I think you have fantastic players that are returning. I mean, you look at the all-conference first team, and you say, yeah, I mean, these players have been successful, while their tenure here, some their freshman year, in regards to just the talent level that you see time and time again. And then you look at the schedules, you look at, who's playing, what are the two of the top teams playing? It excites me because I think we have an opportunity again to make some noise in the non-conference like we did last year.
St. Bonaventure head coach Jim Crowley and redshirt senior guard Dani Haskell.
What excites you about this season?
I mean, it's my last year playing college basketball, so I think just honestly the season itself, I'm very excited. I'm really looking for. I think we'll be seen as an underdog this year, and I can't wait to prove people wrong.
I think we have 4 fifth-year kids and then 6 freshmen, so that mix of experience and newness, it's exciting to work with every day.
And what does that bring? Having people that haven't played in a college basketball game and the leadership on the team as well. How is that mixed in?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity. And these guys, again, they've only had a year with me as well. So it's a very accelerated process. But their investment in it, the 4 fifth-year kids are investment in bringing people together and leading and getting our culture in the right place has been inspiring to watch. They worked really hard at it. They're making great strides at it. So I think that part of it has been really enjoyable to be part of.
And for both of you, based on your practices so far, who's someone who's really elevated their game?
I would say, she was one of our key players last year too, but I think Peyton Fields is going to be a huge player for us this season. And it was fun training with her this summer.
Yeah, I would agree with Peyton. She came on strong last year. I think, Bella Middleton has really grown with what she's done, and Danny's healthy. So there wasn't a lot of time she was last year. So I think all 3 of them have really done some great things. So.
And Coach, for you, how excited are you about the depth of your team this season and having more than 10 players?
Yeah, like we had 4 players out of practice the other day, and we kept practicing. So I give a ton of credit to our group last year. They had to fight through a lot of stuff. They had to play out of position. They had to do different things. But our ability to compete with each other gets us ready for the live stuff. Also our versatility. We can mix and match some different things, play some different ways, which with the way I like to play fits that very well. Credit to those kids last year and our training staff to keep us going. But it's exciting to have the depth and the quality of depth we have.
And, what are you expecting, or what excites you about the A-10 as a whole this season?
Yeah, the league is always so underrated nationally. There are some really, really high-level teams. There are some really high-level players, and obviously great coaching. So I just think the competitiveness is going to be, again, another big part. I think there's going to be a real battle for that middle, and obviously there's some teams that are towards the top, but the way they're going to battle is going to be exciting to watch too.
Coach, how have you seen Dani grow?
Yeah, the leadership thing, she's doing great. It's without question in her, and she's willing to let herself be a little uncomfortable and vulnerable, and doing some great things there. Her openness to her teammates, she's always been a great teammate, but her openness outside the court to work with them, and then just her trust in her shot, and she's incredible condition. She shoots it really well, and just to trust, she has such great ability shooting the ball, quick release, to just trust that all the time, even if, the only shot that matters is the next one. And that's the hardest thing for someone with shooting ability, is to handle misses. And she's doing a really, really good job growing with that.
And for both of you, what's one thing you should know about your team this season?
I would say that don't take us too lightly, because we're definitely coming this season.
I just think our versatility, I think we've got a number of different folks who can do a number of different things.
Coming up next, I'll be sharing my conversations with Fordham head coach Bridgette Mitchell and graduate student guard Taylor Donaldson, and Salle head coach Mountain MacGillivray and sophomore guard Aryss Macktoon. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. I grew up going to hockey games with my dad, and there is nothing like watching hockey live. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. I recently just used Game Time Picks to buy tickets for a Hartford Wolfpack game, and it was so easy. I just opened up the app, searched for my event, and clicked Game Time Picks, which showed me super deals in the top 1% of value for the event, amazing deals in the top 5% of value, and great deals in the top 10% of value for the event. This helped me buy $17 super deal tickets to a game this Sunday. Curated deals make it easier to find the best price on great seats, and I love that you can get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Fordham head coach Bridgette Mitchell and graduate student guard Taylor Donaldson.
What was the highlight of your race?
Oh, you can answer. You can go first. That's hard. I would probably say going to Athens and visiting all the history, and then also jet skiing for sure. I definitely say my highlight was actually seeing how happy all of our players were. Many of them had never traveled out of the country. Even some of my staff, and some of our players didn't even have their passports. And so it was really nice to see them just immerse themselves in the culture, eat the food, then hop on the jet skis that Taylor mentioned. And we had a really good time out there. That was awesome. I'd say that was my highlight, though.
And then, what benefits of the trip do you hope to see or have already seen?
Yeah, I definitely think it's that sense of camaraderie, right? You assign roles to players and every year, and then you have a chance to live them out against a competitor, right? Like you have an opponent to play against, so you have a role, and we had a chance to see our roles exemplified before the season even starts, and why you have your role and tapping into that. So I think that that's something that is definitely a benefit to have an opportunity to play before the season kicks off.
What are some of the ways you're hoping your team to grow this season?
Definitely in our mindset. And when I say grow in our mindset, it's like, the next play mentality. And I think that that's something that as a competitor and a baller, you can't get hung up on the last play. And you can't look forward to the next, right? You have to be in the moment. And so I'm really excited to see our growth in that area from where we are today until the end of the season.
And for both of you, based on your practices so far, who's someone who's elevated their game over the summer or we should keep an eye out on?
I would say we have a transfer, Shay. I think she's someone to keep an eye out on because she can play both sides of the ball, and I think it'll really up the depth in the backcourt. I'd agree. I think that Shay and Irene from our post players, Irene and Zaria both scored 1,000 points, over 1,000 points at their previous schools. And so having the chance to have them come in and play in the perimeter as well, in the paint as well as on the perimeter will really be a good attribute for our team, addition for our team.
And then Taylor, what did you focus on individually over the summer?
Yeah, I think just being more efficient in my shots and obviously improving on both sides of the ball still. There's always room to grow on both sides. So I think just being more efficient and being a leader on the floor.
Then, Coach, what excites you about your non-conference?
We have a lot of different looks, right? We scheduled teams that are going to play 5 out. We schedule teams that are going to do a lot of ball screen action, right? A lot of split screen action. So we're really just looking forward to getting that experience to prepare us for all of the great opponents that we have in our league.
And what are some of the early impressions of newcomers?
Yeah, the newcomers and freshmen are our team, right? And so when you talk about contributions, everyone's going to have to do something, right? We assign roles. We need people that are going to rebound. We need people that are going to set great screens. We need people that are going to score. And so really excited about their opportunity to come in clean slate, right? Everyone's equal. And so they've been competing against each other every day in practice. And that's going to bode well once the games start.
And for both of you, what do you think some of the strengths are of this year's team?
I think the passion, the energy is like the dog we have in a lot of us. I think everybody wants to compete and we want to win. And I think us playing for each other is something that's going to be a strength.
What's one thing you want people to know about the team this season?
That we're coming for it. We're hungry. We're young. We're hungry. We're going to make some mistakes and have some errors, but we're going to have fun while we're out there competing and getting after it.
Salle head coach Mountain MacGillivray and sophomore guard Aryss Macktoon.
And Coach, who has stepped into the leadership role?
Yeah, well, our two returners, Jolene and Aryss here, certainly have embraced that. And then Mackenzie DeLiba and Ashley Connor have both really stepped up as well. But I'll tell you, besides the four of them who've been vocal, who've been taking charge and holding each other accountable, I think we have a lot of young ladies on this team who are willing to speak up and willing to challenge one another. And it's been fun to see in practice.
For you, I know you only played 4 games last season, but you started 2 of them. What are you hoping to show on the court this season?
I'm hoping to show what the A-10 missed, as well as my improvements as a player.
So what did you work on in the offseason?
I worked a lot on my shot and some ball handling. It's a little slow improvements, but it is improvements nonetheless.
What do you think are some of the strengths of this year's team so far?
Seems to be an extremely unselfish group as well that's willing to share the ball. We break down film after every practice, and you never know who's going to have the most assists. It could be the point guard, it could be any other player on the team because they just move the ball and find one another, and that's really nice to watch.
And based on your practices so far, who's someone who's really elevated your game this summer that we should keep an eye out for?
I mean, there's a whole lot of people on this team you need to keep an eye out for, I think. We mentioned that group, the captain group. They're all performing and playing really well. I would say a player who hasn't been mentioned, though, you can look out for Shane Magassa. She can do a lot of things on the basketball court. She's long, she's athletic, she's skilled. She's kind of who we want to be as a team, and she kind of mirrors that.
And then what excites you about your last conference?
I'm excited for to head out to San Diego after playing Texas to get 2 games in the sun. That should be a lot of fun. But really, I think the biggest game on our schedule is Delaware at home in our brand new arena on homecoming weekend. That's exciting.
And, looking at the A-10 as a whole, what are you expecting? What excites you about the conference?
I'm really just excited. Since this is my first time playing most of these teams, I'm just excited to actually experience what it's like to play the A-10 as a whole. And that's a few games. But yeah.
And, from top to bottom, it's a really strong conference. I think, Richmond and St. Joe seem to, return a ton of players and be the class of the league, but there's so much unknown in the rest of the conference. It's going to be exciting to see that play out.
And, what should people be expecting from the new arena this year?
I think you're not going to recognize the place. It's like a brand new spot. It's kind of breathtaking to see it all come together. I don't know how Aryss feels about that, but I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the end product. But like Coach Mountain said, it looks completely different than what it did last year. We have 360 seatings all around, and I'm excited to have fans on both sides behind the basket and more space.
Coming up next, I'll be sharing my conversations with Loyola Chicago head coach Allison Guth and graduate student forward Sitori Tanin, as well as Duquesne head coach Dan Burt and 5th-year senior guard Megan McConnell. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is so fun and easy to use, and I absolutely love that PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, just download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Loyola Chicago head coach Allison Guth and graduate student forward Sitori Tanin.
Just starting off for both of you, what excites you about this season?
First of all, Natalie, thanks so much for covering A-10 women's hoops and Loyola Chicago in particular. We're excited to be with you here today. The thing that we're excited about, both Sit and I think this whole team, is that we got 10 new players, and so we get a chance in our non-con to kind of figure out our identity. We love to play fast, free, and fun. We think that's tied to defending, rebounding, running the way we do, and kind of coming off of a June, July, and a nice preseason and start to season. We're starting to see the pieces come together, and I think that we have a ton of what we call strength up the middle, head, heart, guts, and our competitiveness. It's been elevated. So I can tell you we're excited to be on the journey, and we're really process driven, because at this A-10 media day, you're obviously getting to see who you're going to go up against. And it's really important to know your opponent, but I think we're more excited to get to know ourselves on this journey year 3.
You've played in 116 games at Loyola Chicago. What experience and leadership do you think you bring to the team with 10 newcomers?
Yeah, I think experience is very important, especially with 10 new players. And I think that my voice, I've been really working on that this year. And I think that's going to be a crucial piece to my game and elevating my own playing, but also everyone that I'm on the court with. So I think that that's going to help, and just kind of knowing, when you get to traveling, and it can be a lot when you get to January and February, and the fact that I've been through that, and I can help some of those newcomers or even the transfers kind of get through that step. I think that's what's going to have us peak at or help us peak at the exact right time.
And then, coach, for you, kind of the same thing. What example do you set?
Natalie, it's so cool. I think it's why you coach and do what you do, to see people evolve and grow. And so to be going into year 3 with Sit, I just want people to sit back and look. And yes, when we talk about our sport, you can tangibly look at statistics. I mean, you look at Sitori Tanin from a year ago, year 1 with us to year 2. She goes up 20 plus rebounds, 20 plus assists. She goes up 20 plus points. She scores it 9 percentage points better from the 3 ball, going 30% to 39%. What's more impressive than those stats is that she does that playing the same minutes. And so I think she's totally bought into our developmental training program. I think the time she spent with Coach Harris has been phenomenal. The way she leads into me. I think it's tremendous to see someone individually focus on her growth. And then the number one thing she's been focused on is actual leadership. The thing that's going to carry for her outside of this season and for the rest of her life. And so what I love about Sit, she's got a quiet confidence. And what I love about her is that she's authentic. She's real. She's not performative. It's not showy. She's going to do it with her play. She's going to do it because she cares about you, and she's going to say the right thing. She's really, really emerged and evolved in a beautiful way. And now we got a new test and we got a new challenge. We're sitting here, pre-season ranked 9th, want to be better, want to be at the top of this conference. And we have a lot of work. We have to roll up our sleeves and we have to get it done. And so there's this challenge, and some people might define it as pressure. I think we're looking at it as the right type of pressure. That's when diamonds are made, and it's we got to be truthful with ourselves. And I think Sitori is the right one to lead us.
And how has being surrounded by great basketball helped push you as you
been coaching in the A-10?
Oh, it's huge. I think anytime you have colleagues that you respect, you admire, you see the brand of basketball they put on the floor, you see the competition. I mean, I could go through every coach in the league and sit here and look at Tammy and what she did with USA basketball this summer and talk about my impression of what she's done. I could look at Gail and look at what Davidson has built and look at the adversity they faced last year and how she carried herself through that adversity and that team. Every coach in the league, I could sit and tell you something that I have learned from either that coach or those players on the floor. So again, I think this league is tremendous, and I'm really excited for an opportunity to compete against it. Finally, like Sid said, for it to be us against them and not inter-squad scrimmages. Yeah.
And then Sitori, what do you see as some of the strengths of the team this season?
I see a lot of strengths, and I think just seeing the leadership from all different levels. We may have 6 freshmen, but there's still leadership coming from them. And I think that's what can really drive a team forward, is having, just different strength or leadership at all different levels, kind of just leading those around you. And I also I think our level of shooting and converting offensively is one of our bigger strengths this year. And I'm excited to see it.
Awesome. Anything else either of you want to add?
No, I think, we're excited about the brand of basketball we're putting out there. And we're excited to follow the trend just of women's basketball in general of putting butts in seats. And so I think what we're excited about for Loyola Chicago fans in our PAC student section, fans in the city of Chicago, to get them out because this product to play, it's going to be the hottest ticket in town, I think. So we're excited about it.
Duquesne head coach Dan Burt and 5th-year senior guard Megan McConnell.
For both of you, what excites you about this season?
I think it's a rebirth of our program in a sense. We've been trending upwards for the last 3 or 4 years, but we've graduated 5,000 points this last season. The new style that we're playing with the newcomers that we have, we're really excited about the direction that our program's going.
Yeah, like Coach Burt said, I think just the people that we brought in and the people we have coming back, it's a good group of girls, really competitive. And so I'm just really excited to see where this season goes.
If you want to come back for the year?
Well, it was a no-brainer to come back to play under Coach Burt. He's the reason I wanted to stay at Duquesne and to stay all 5 years. But I've grown not just as a player, but as a person, and I can't thank my coaches and my teammates enough for letting me do that. And I just feel like that place is home to me, and I just didn't want to leave.
And then for you, Coach, what are you expecting, or what excites you about the A-10 as a whole this year?
I don't think there's any real clear-cut favorite. We saw what the votes were for the top half of the league, but I think it's a little bit closer than what that indicates even. And I think there's about 8 or 9 teams that all could legitimately win the league with a little bit of luck. I think there's really good coaching within the league, and the talent is very good. It should be a banner year. Going back to the years when I first started my head coaching career, it feels like those years we had multiple teams in the NCAA tournament. It has that kind of feel, that kind of atmosphere to it.
And, for both of you, based on your practices so far over the summer, who's someone who's elevated her game that we should be keeping an eye out for?
I would say Journey. She's elevated her game a lot, and I think you guys will see big things this year.
Who hasn't? It's been that kind of summer and early fall for us. We're really excited about the dynamic of this group. But I'll go along with that. I'll say Journey Kiaku. She's the fastest player in the A-10. She might be the fastest player in the country. And her ability to have body control going full speed is an amazing thing to see. And sometimes you're just sitting there and you just watch it. You're not playing nor coaching. You're just watching her perform. But probably Journey Kiaku.
And then for you, Megan, what did you focus on improving? What do you hope you can show on the court this season?
I would say I focused more on just getting more consistent with my shot, trying to be that 3-level scorer that my team needs to be. So just shooting the ball at a high percentage.
What do you think the strengths of the team are this season?
we're all very gritty. I think that's something that I wouldn't say was missing in the previous years, but this group is just everyone wants the same goal, and we're all going after it together, and we're very gritty on the court.
And then for you, Coach, Jill, how have you seen Meg continue to grow and develop, even though she led the team points, rebounds, assists, and steals last year?
You know, when she first came to us a number of years ago, she was a high school kid trying to find her way, and she's grown tremendously, whether that's emotionally, socially, physically, and she's a grown woman. And what I'm really excited for is how she'll lead us this year. And it won't probably be in as many statistical categories, but it will be leading us from a leadership role and being an assistant coach on the floor and being the best player that she can be. I have the utmost respect and confidence in her, and I can't thank her enough for trusting us and our program for her 5th year. There's not a lot of people in the country that have the kind of stats that she has and the kind of talent and skill that she has that stayed, and Megan stayed. And so we're really excited about the year as a team that we're going to have, but also what happens for Megan after this season ends and what her professional opportunities will be.
And what are you looking to do after?
I want to play professionally. So depending on how this year goes, just go overseas and just continue to play the game that I love. So
we're not counting out the WNBA.
No. If I get a shot, I'm gonna take it.
Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On NBA Daily Newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com and start your day with the all-new free Locked On NBA newsletter. Make sure to tune in tomorrow to hear from Jackie and on Saturday to hear from our WNBA draft crew.